Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel, and I do have a new topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And to people I thank you inspired me, hope they can inspire you as well. And I will have links below this video to their sites. They are Rabbi Shalom Arush, Rabbi Laser Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rabbi Alon Anava, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rav Daniel Asore, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Asher, and Rabbi Ron Reuven. As well, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link right below this video to my first video, which explains what M.L.M for the Soul means, what it stands for, and what I am doing. So today's topic is called, I forgot what it is. Isn't that funny? I had it in my head. I got it now. Pardon me for the interruption. The problem is, you think there is no problem. Now, what a lot of rabbis talk about, how they come up with chidushim, something new, but really there's nothing new under the sun. It's just something that we feel is maybe needs to come out into the world again. I thought about this a while ago because we're all dealing with issues in our lives, but a lot of times what happens is that things kind of get, you could say, swept under the rug or whatever, but we think that it's not a problem. So really the universal problem, meaning it's what covers everything, is we think there isn't any problem. And it goes across the spectrum with so many different things in our lives, and especially now that we're in the end of days and Mashiach's going to be coming very, very soon, speedily in our days, amen, Bezrat Hashem, that this is the world that we live in. It's like this, and we have to be strong. We have to do the Ratzon of Hashem. We have to do His will. That's what we're here for. We're here to be a light unto the nations. So if we are out there doing not what we're supposed to do, then that's the problem. And when I say that what the problem is that you think there isn't a problem, is because also a lot of people, what they're doing is they want to just deal with themselves. They don't want to go out there and tell other people what they need to do if they're going against Hashem. And yes, I know there's ways that you need to speak with people. Not everyone can do it. You don't want to just come outright and embarrass a person and make them feel bad. And you also have to make sure it's okay that they're open to hear it. There's ways. And if you can't do it, get a CD. There's so many different rabbis, like Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Alon Anava, Rabbi Ron Reuven, other rabbis that have good CDs. They're strong. They tell the truth, the emet. There's no hiding behind any, facade or anything fake. Because Hashem is truth, and we have to live by the truth. So we can't just say, everyone is doing what they can do, but the consequences are so severe that people don't realize it. A lot of people don't know what goes on once you leave this world. And that's when the bigger problem comes in, is that your neshama has to deal with it. So better you deal with it here, so that you don't have to deal with it there. And I've experienced nothing like other people who've had clinical death, like Rabbi Anava, SAADA, Esterke, and I could have links below this video to their actual stories, and women and men who both experienced clinical death that were not doing things according to Hashem, because they didn't think there was a problem. They didn't think there was anything wrong with how they were living. And then they got to see what goes on in the next world, and they came back and they share their stories, and now they've totally transformed their lives. It's not to say that everyone who has a clinical death will, but most people do. That once they see what goes on, once they see that they haven't done anything right in their lives, they come back and they want to change it, and then they want to help other people to do the same. And I know it's not easy. It's definitely not easy when you become immune, so to speak, to what you're supposed to be doing. You need a strong dose of Mussar, and a lot of people can't handle that, and they get very angry. And they don't want to hear it from you, and they get, upset with you and don't want to talk to you. I've had that happen to me, and it's like, You know, I know that I have to do my part. And I know that I won't be held accountable for it in Shemayim. You know, I have to do to a certain level. And yes, there's a way to do it, like I said. You don't want to just come out and inflict upon a person that they're horrible, they're wicked, they're this, they're that, because they're not keeping Shabbos or tznius or kosher or, you know, taras mishpacha, all different types of things that are out there. But there's a way to do it. You have to know how to speak about it without causing the person any undue stress. But sometimes you have to. I mean, people don't realize their lives are at stake, and lives means your future in the world to come, not in this world. So our lives are really at stake, and we all have to pay attention to that and really tune in. And the stronger you get, and the way to get stronger, that's the biggest thing, is how do you do it? If you have certain areas in your life that you're having a hard time improving on, your different midos, character traits, or things like why you aren't keeping Shabbos, look into listening to lectures or learning about the importance of it and learning and why you can't do certain things or are supposed to do certain things. And that helps you. That helps you get stronger and helps you overcome the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, who's trying to prod at you to not do what's right, but in the end, he's really Hashem's messenger, so he really wants you to overcome what he's telling you to do. And that's hard too because of the society we live in. You're surrounded by all the phoniness, all the materiality, all the fake life, the fake lifestyles that everyone's living, not realizing it. And it's hard to, you know, put yourself in a bubble, so to speak. We can't. We don't live in a bubble. But you have to be strong. You have to, you know, keep that in your mindset and keep infusing yourself. I call it, it's an infusion of Torah, of truth, so that you will be able to overcome. And, you know, there's hard because you can't always walk with your head down. Even for me, even what I don't like to see walking on the streets. You know, it's hard when you see things have gotten so out of control. I mean, like, I'll say one other really crazy thing. You know, now you have this new thing with the gender. There's a new thing, non-conforming, third gender. There's no third gender. I mean, that's ridiculous. Hashem created us male, female. That's it. There's nothing else. And people are creating these new things. You know, and it's not okay. Hashem gave us that way. If you don't think you're that way, well, you'll find out when you leave this world what you are. And that's the sad part, is I feel really bad for people who I do try to help and encourage, and they're not interested, again, because they don't think there's a problem, and then there's consequences to deal with, and we're all going to face them. And some people know what goes on in the next world, and that have heard stories, and that it's been written about in some really strong Mussar books, and most people don't see those. One is like Shar HaGilgolim, Masechet Gehenim. It's very strong. I've read a little tidbits here and there online, and also the stories that I've listened to, so I know that I don't want to get there, and I've been tested in different ways, and people say, oh, why this, why can't you do that, and especially around modesty, and, you know, with men and women being separate. So I tell them, I got a boss upstairs, he's watching me, and I got to do what he wants me to do. That's it. I know there's consequences, so I don't want to have to deal with it. I want to do what's right, and again, there's that challenge, but the more you get stronger in that, even when those challenges come your way, you're able to overcome them because you're already at such a higher level in that area of your life that nothing can really penetrate. But even within that, there's still things that you could always improve, and I always try to do that. So we have to remember that the problem is, you think there is no problem, but that's the problem. The problem is that we have to overcome those things and realize that there are problems. None of us are perfect. That's why we're here in this world, to correct ourselves. And that we have to look at those things, and if someone comes into our lives and shares with us certain things to help us improve, we shouldn't just push it away or get angry or upset, because, you know, you could have friends influence you, people that are around your lives, especially if you're not that strong. and they may be lenient in certain areas and think that it's okay. And a lot of times these are people that come from very, very religious backgrounds. I've heard stories of people like that, and it's just shocking how they make their own concessions or their own, like, Torah, so to speak, chas v'sholom, that it's like their leniencies are really not okay. So anyway, I hope that we will all take everything that people want to share with us into account to learn and to grow and to improve ourselves, so that we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days and the rebuilding of our final and everlasting Beis HaMikdash. Amen, and thanks for watching.